The air was thick with tension, the cold bite of an early morning gripping the chest of a woman who stood resolutely in a forest clearing. Harriet Tubman, a woman known now as the Moses of her people, felt the damp earth beneath her feet, a mixture of mud and fallen leaves, clinging to her boots. The sound of rustling branches filled the space around her, haunted whispers of the woods echoing her courageous resolve. She could hear her own heartbeat thundering in her ears, a steady drum that matched the rhythm of her thoughts, a deep, desperate prayer for freedom. Harriet's breath came in quick bursts, visible puffs of steam that dissipated into the cool morning air. Each inhale carried the musty scent of damp earth mixed with evergreen, a constant reminder of nature's beauty clashing with the harsh realities of her mission. She was determined, standing on the cusp of history, ready to guide others to the promise of freedom, away from the chains of enslavement. In that moment, she could almost hear the distant cries of those she had promised to lead, each voice filled with hope and fear. Go back. Never. I would rather die than return to that life, she had declared to herself countless times. As the sun began to peek through the thick canopy overhead, illuminating the path, she felt an urgency, a fierce determination ignited within her. This day would not end in failure. With a flickering light guiding the way, she took a deep breath, preparing to lead her group. The sound of her footsteps echoed softly on the wet ground, a tactile reminder of the mission ahead, a mission steeped in danger and driven by unyielding hope. Harriet Tubman's journey toward becoming a legendary figure of the Underground Railroad did not begin in triumph, but rather in profound suffering. Born around 1822 in Dorchester County, Maryland, to enslaved parents Harriet Ross and Benjamin Ross, her early years were marred by the harsh realities of slavery. As a child, Harriet was a witness to the brutality of her world. She was separated from her family frequently, subjected to the whims of her owners, and forced to work in fields from dawn until dusk. The crack of a whip cut through the air, ringing in her ears, a sound that would haunt her memories. At the tender age of 5, she was sent to work in a neighboring plantation, enduring a cycle of toil and punishment that left indelible marks on her spirit. When she was just 12 years old, a blow to her head from a 2-pound weight intended for another enslaved person nearly killed her. The injury left her with lifelong seizures and intense pain. As she lay in agony, the smell of blood and iron filled her nostrils, the reality of her body's fragility stark against the backdrop of her fervent desire for freedom. I had a dream of being free, she would later recall, as her eyes filled with defiance. But freedom comes with a price, and I was ready to pay it. These formative experiences filled her with a strength forged in the fires of adversity. They cultivated a desperate yearning for liberation, not just for herself, but for all who were enslaved. This early trauma laid the groundwork for the fierce determination that would characterize her later efforts as a conductor on the Underground Railroad. The path to freedom was neither straightforward nor easy for Harriet Tubman. After escaping slavery in 1849, she found herself navigating the uncertain terrain of Pennsylvania, where the air felt different, clean and untainted by the chains of her past. Yet, instead of relief, she felt a gnawing anxiety. On her first attempt to return to rescue her family, the fear of capture weighed heavily on her mind. She remembered the stories of those who had been caught, their bodies dragged back, spirits crushed. What if they don't want to leave, she questioned herself, feeling a sense of isolation even in her newfound freedom. The thought of failure gnawed at her heart, and for a moment, doubt crept in like a thief in the night. Yet, Harriet pressed on, drawing strength from the countless souls still trapped in bondage. It was not until she heard the desperate cries of her brothers and sisters in chains that she found her resolve again. I will bring them to freedom, even if it costs me my life, she whispered into the night, determination lighting her eyes anew. One of Harriet Tubman's most ingenious strategies lay in her ability to read the landscape and connect with the communities around her. She understood that the journey to freedom wasn't solely physical, it required a network of trust and support. She would often travel the routes during the dark of night, knowing that any lantern flickering in the distance could spell doom. Harriet used natural landmarks, rivers, hills, and specific trees, as guides, relying on the lay of the land to navigate her way back to the enslaved. I never lost a passenger, she would proudly recount, her voice steady with the weight of experience. Harriet also cultivated relationships with various abolitionists and supporters in the North. She devised clever codes and signals, using songs to communicate. Follow the drinking gourd, she would hum to her passengers, referencing the Big Dipper constellation that pointed north, guiding them toward freedom. Her ability to blend into different communities made her an elusive figure. She wore practical clothing, simple dresses that allowed for ease of movement, and kept her hair tucked neatly away. She understood the importance of not drawing attention to herself. This strategy was not merely tactical, it was deeply personal, a testament to her understanding of the human experience and the yearning for liberation. When danger loomed near, Tubman would sometimes employ misdirection. If a group was pursued, she would lead them to a river and have them wade through, the frigid water biting their skin, but washing away the scent of their escape. When you are hunted, you must think like a fox, she would advise, her voice a blend of calm assurance and fierce resolve. It was a cold night in 1856 when Harriet Tubman faced one of her most intense confrontations. She was leading a group of 11 escapees through the dense woods of Maryland, the air thick with the scent of decaying leaves and impending rain. Suddenly, a rustle in the underbrush sent adrenaline coursing through her veins. The sound of shouting men, the hounds baying in the distance, cut through the stillness. "Stay quiet. Don't move," she hissed, her heart pounding fiercely against her chest. She could feel the weight of their lives resting on her shoulders, and she fought against the rising tide of fear. As they huddled together, the palpable tension echoed within them. Harriet raised her lantern just enough to see their anxious faces, a blend of determination and raw terror. "Remember why we are here. Freedom is worth every risk," she whispered, her words weaving through the night air. They joined hands, a chain of strength binding them together in that moment. With each precarious step, the sound of their feet muffled by the thick carpet of leaves, they pressed forward. Just ahead, the distant glow of a farmhouse signaled refuge. But the shouts of slave catchers grew louder, closer. The thud of horses' hooves sounded like war drums, the tension rising with every beat. At the edge of the clearing, Harriet turned to her group, her eyes fierce and unwavering. "Run! Don't look back," she commanded, her voice slicing through the anxiety. In that moment, she knew that their lives were in the balance. Through sheer willpower and grit, they evaded capture, slipping away into the darkness of the night, muffled breaths mingling with whispers of hope, the smell of damp earth and freedom igniting their spirits. Harriet Tubman's journey was fraught with obstacles. One of her most significant setbacks came in the form of the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850. This law allowed for the capture and return of escaped enslaved individuals, even in free states, fueling a climate of fear and danger. With the passing of this act, many of Harriet's allies hesitated to assist escapees, fearing legal repercussions. Trust began to fray, and the network she had meticulously built started to crumble. "We will not give in to fear," Harriet would remind those around her, but the worry etched on their faces told a different story. It was during this time that a close ally, William Still, faced a financial crisis that threatened to dismantle the operation. "The costs are too high, Harriet," he lamented, his voice heavy with despair. "We cannot risk it any longer." "William," she implored, "if we stop, how many lives will be lost? How many dreams will fade?" Her eyes shone with a fierce light, embodying the fight for freedom that had been her life's mission. Despite her relentless spirit, obstacles continued to mount. There were also betrayals from within the community, people willing to turn in those seeking freedom for a profit. Harriet sensed the growing fear in her group, the weight of uncertainty heavy in the air. Yet, she refused to falter. Her belief in the power of unity and resilience kept her pushing forward. Harriet Tubman's legacy is profound and enduring. She led over 70 enslaved people to freedom and remained an activist until her death in 1913, working for women's suffrage and advocating for civil rights. In her own words, Harriet proclaimed, "Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world." Her philosophy was one rooted in the belief that change is possible, and that resilience and unity are crucial. Her life reminds us of the potential of the human spirit and the power of tenacity against insurmountable odds. Harriet's journey, filled with danger and courage, compels us to reflect on our own capacities for empathy and action in the face of injustice. As we navigate our own struggles, we can look to Harriet Tubman's story as a beacon of hope, a reminder that, often, the path to freedom is forged not just in the pursuit of our own dreams, but in the liberation of others. In her footsteps, we can find the courage to stand for what is right, to challenge the status quo, and to work towards a future where all can truly be free. Through her unwavering commitment to justice, Harriet Tubman continues to inspire generations, urging us all to remember that the fight for freedom is a collective journey, one that requires courage, resilience, and an unwavering belief in